everybody, Scott Morris, Realtor here with Coldwell Banker, and I'm just here with a couple guys that really want to tell you about who they are and what they do. All right, I have Dan and Nioti from the law offices of Jocic and Koulianos. And basically, guys, what does a law office in Tarpon Springs on Orange, we're on West Orange.
West
right?
Orange,
yeah.
yeah.
Like, what do you guys do primarily? Like, what is, you'd say, what you work on daily mostly?
So we focus on personal injury.
Okay.
We're a personal injury firm. What we focus on is helping people.
Yeah.
Obviously, going through a car accident is one of the worst experiences anyone could ever endure. So people come to us for help.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what to do. They don't know how to proceed in a car accident. They don't even get proper advice as to, oh my God, this is so derpy. It's almost like I feel like I'm so fake right now. Maybe like in all seriousness.
Jump in, Nioti.
Listen. So we're primarily a personal injury firm, and the main thing that we do is help people, and we try to help people as much as we can, and in their, their times of need, because when you're injured and you're in pain and your car is destroyed, you don't have any way to get around.
People think, oh, my neck doesn't hurt now, I must be fine.
Yeah, it's a scary time, and our focus is on, helping those people as much as we can, guiding them through the process. We help, something that we do that a lot of firms don't do is that we help all of our clients with their property damage portion of the claim too.
Oh,
because
wow.
we're injury attorneys, you know. So our job is to handle the injury portion of a claim.
Okay.
But as a courtesy to our clients, we always are willing to, if they want us to, are willing to assist with property damage, and we never take a fee for that. Those checks go directly to the client.
Like, a couple years ago, my son got hit by a hit-and-run driver on a bicycle.
Mm-hmm.
And so you mentioned this, it's interesting, because one of the things that I didn't think about was the attorney that I did use at the time, because I didn't know you guys at the time. But they're like, oh, the bike, we don't really deal with that. Yeah. The bike, because it was personal property, right? Meanwhile, he's out of year of football, right? He has bulging discs. He may not get in the Navy. He may, who knows, right? Yeah. But so that's an important factor that people should know, that a lot of these bigger law firms, things like that, they don't care about the mom and pop situations, what I call them, right? Like the day-to-day, daily life things. That's important to know.
Well, for us, I was born and raised here in Tarpon Springs, so a lot of my clients are friends and family. A big portion, or they were referred by friends and family. We're not a big firm. We don't do a lot of advertising. It's all word of mouth for us. We kind of have like a homegrown network. So
it's like your sphere of influence is right here, hometown attorney.
Yeah. So for me to help those people, it's a given. I'm not going to turn them away if they need help with one part of their claim, especially if I'm going to make money off the injury part of the claim anyways. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's something that it makes me feel good to do it too. I enjoy doing it.
Word of mouth is very strong about your firm here, and that's one of the things that attracted me to come in and say, I got to interview these guys. I talked to Jim Pappas, because you guys own Tarpon Title. Yeah. And I was like, hey, do you think Nioti and Dan would be able to, do this? I've heard great things, and I just wanted to kind of make sure I got your take on what goes on here. Yeah. If somebody does get in an accident, this is good information for people. What would you say is important for the average Joe to know if they get in an accident? What should they do?
Well, the first thing they need to do is seek medical attention if they're injured, obviously. Right. The number one thing is somebody's health. That's the first thing that we're concerned with here. Yeah. So obviously they need to seek medical attention. They need to make sure that the police are called, or information is exchanged between the parties. Yeah. Photographs are important of the scene of the accident. Okay. The damage to the vehicles, obviously photographs of any bumps or bruises that they might have. Yeah. And
you think taking a video around the cars would be
that's definitely smart? A good idea. It's not a good idea to talk to insurance companies right away, because the truth of the matter is,
even their own?
Not in all cases, but you should speak with an attorney before you speak with any insurance, because even your own insurance, they're a business. An insurance company's profit comes from all the claims they don't pay. That's where their profit comes from, right? The less claims they pay in a year, the less they pay per claim. is where their profit margin comes from. Right?
That makes sense. So I
So,
wouldn't have thought of that.
yeah.
Obviously,
So
what
it's-
they save is what they make.
Exactly.
Obviously.
So
yeah.
you know, I don't want to disparage anybody, but
Yeah.
they're not always out for the injured party's interest, even when that injured party is their own insured. They're
Okay.
not always out for their best interest. You know,
Not all of
have
them, but
they have
yeah.
obligations to the company, to the shareholders if it's a publicly traded company, right? So
Right.
what they're worried about is their bottom line.
I mean, yeah. So if you call an attorney, what the attorney's worried about is their client.
Of course,
Right.
of course. That's all we worry about. It's our job to worry
Yeah.
about our client,
That makes
protect our
sense.
client, fight for our client, be an advocate, and
That's
stand up for them in situations where they don't know what to do.
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And now we know.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Yeah.
But so you also do personal injury. Is this a firm? It's like general practice. But
Yeah, personal
focus
injury
on-
is a big part of our practice,
Okay.
but we do a lot of other things. Dan handles all kinds of cases, he
What's-
does
yeah.
criminal law, family law, we do contracts, business cases. Again, that kind of is a symptom of being a kind of a small town firm and
Yeah.
a small town network. People come to you with everything.
Yeah.
Once you help someone out with one thing and you do a good job for them, every time they need a lawyer, they come to you.
We say we specialize in specific areas of law, but the truth is, we just like to help people. So if they
Yeah.
come to us with a problem, if we can help them, we'll find a way to do it.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be a criminal case or just helping them draft a contract, whatever it is. If it's
That
something
makes
that we can do, we're going to do it because
Yeah.
we want to help.
So contract. I mean, geez, we're in such a litigious society now that it just makes sense a lot of times to put things in writing. I do real estate, obviously, so I mean, I could sit here. We could talk real estate law all day. And the craziest stuff comes out. Well, if you don't mind, I don't know if you're allowed to, but like, what's the craziest thing you guys have seen, do you think? And locally, if it doesn't have to be locally, but in your career, maybe go back to Chicago for it. So you don't take off anybody locally.
It's a little tough to say. I mean, we've dealt with a lot of crazy situations, that's
Yeah.
for sure. But that's really stuff that, it's kind of confidential.
Yeah, most of it I figured is
Yeah.
confidential and stuff, but
Yeah, I don't really have a story
yeah, no, that's
to
okay.
fit,
That's
to
okay.
fit that question.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's okay. What's your favorite thing to do as far as when you settle a case? Like, what's the payoff for you guys? I'm not talking, obviously monetary. There's a certain level of payoff of something else. What is that payoff, and like, how do you quantify it? How do you know when you've done a great thing?
It's just satisfying seeing someone, relieved and happy that whatever their issue was resolved. When you represent someone, you kind of get wrapped up into what's going on, and part of what's going on in their lives becomes an issue that you take personal and you want to fix, and it almost in a sense becomes your issue too. So
That's a good one.
it's a relief to try to get these cases resolved. And again, someone comes to you in trouble, and knowing and going through the process with them and resolving it and seeing the relief that they're now done with it. It's just
Just done with it.
it's
Thank
It's a
you to
great
you
feeling, it
guys
really is.
and things. Yeah, they're thanking
For me,
you and
You
your
know,
team.
when the client comes in at the end of a case and settle it and they're happy, that's the biggest reward I can get.
Yeah.
You know?
And they
'Cause that's-
refer people to you.
That's what this is.
yeah.
It's about helping people. And I know I keep saying that over and over again, but it's the truth. That's what
Yeah.
this job is. This job is, especially when you're talking about like the criminal and personal injury side of it, even divorce,
Yeah.
people are coming to you maybe at their lowest low of their life,
Yeah.
and they need guidance, they need help. And
Yeah.
being able to do that and be there and, nothing beats when you speak to a client for the first time and you almost see that stress come off their shoulders. You almost see the relief, and
Yeah.
they leave different than they came, just off
That's-
that first meeting.
Just a consultation.
And that's a great thing.
Yeah.
you know?
I might come in just to talk to you guys.
Yeah. We're therapists too. We're not.
I was just gonna say I do more counseling than anything else. When I say legal counsel, I mean counselor.
Yeah.
But anyway, but it's interesting to know that, obviously, because there's so many aspects of what you do. Because even in criminal cases, you guys probably take both sides of criminal cases, right? Prosecution and defense, or is it only defense, or how does that work?
So
No,
it's-
yeah, you could go ahead and answer.
so it's
that.
only defense. Obviously,
Okay.
the state is the one who prosecutes. They're
Okay.
the ones who decide to bring
See,
a charge.
I'm ignorant. I'm ignorant on.
Well, no, you're not,
Okay.
because in some situations maybe we may represent a victim of a crime, you know, to kind of guide them through the process of the criminal courts as a victim, and possibly to pursue some civil action for them that's connected to the crime.
Okay.
So we can be on both sides of a criminal case at any given time. Not the same case, obviously, but different cases.
I got you. Well, what do you guys like doing in your personal time?
I like to fish. I like to fish, be on the water, spearfish, anything.
Do you
anything.
spearfish?
Yeah, I do spearfish.
This man's spearfish.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Ever since I was a kid. So
Oh my god.
I grew up in Tarpon. I grew up in Tarpon.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I had my first boat when I was 13.
Oh, you
and,
got it.
you know,
Free diving, or do you scuba too?
No, I mainly free diving. Sometimes with a hookah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, hookah rig. Yeah, for sure.
Or snuba, you know, where you put the tank on the hose.
Yeah. That's
But yeah, I like fishing, you know, and being
awesome.
on the water. Anything, you know, the weekends are usually spent on the boat. In
That's
the
why I love
spring and
Tarpon.
summer, definitely, and even in the winter sometimes, you know, if we're
Yeah.
doing some offshore fishing or something like that.
What do you like doing?
Honestly, I love playing basketball.
Yeah?
I'm from Chicago originally, so
Oh,
it's
man.
kind of cool coming out here and seeing all the amazing things you can do out on the water. But
Yeah.
But you can
obviously-
play basketball outdoors here.
I know year round,
Year round. Yeah.
year round.
Like Tarpon's an amazing town.
It is. It's a great place, you know, and that's why I know that you have a focus on local businesses, and I think that's really important, you know, because that's what makes the local economy go. Is, you know, supporting local businesses. I mean, yeah, sometimes we got to go to Walmart, we got to go to Publix, we got to go to big stores, but if you could buy it local, you should, because that is where the money really stays in the community. You know?
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying, look, Walmart creates jobs, they do a lot of stuff like that too, but for the most part, if you want to keep money in the community, using local businesses is the way to go.
And we got to keep Tarpon. Too,
you know, I mean, I spend 90% of what I spend in the community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's what it should be.
Yeah, and I do that, you know, purposefully, because I know that I want that money to stay in the community and circulate here. You know, and not leave.
I mean, and I think we have, you know, we've just had an election here in Tarpon. I love who's taking action now, and I love the communication that's happening now. I think what we talk about Tarpon and progress, I think progress is important, but I think more important is to call it responsible progress.
Yeah.
Like, we want to keep Tarpon because we're coming from New York, Chicago. We're coming from other places. They're from those places for a reason. They're coming to Tarpon for a reason, and we need to keep that reason. Yeah. So I think shopping locally is everything. All my closing gifts come from somebody here. The Sponge Docks are downtown Tarpon. Yeah. Honestly, it's fun, because if they're a buyer coming here, they're moving here, they need to know little things that they can bring other people to who also follow them down here.
Of course.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, that's great, guys. And I know that anybody can come by, and do you want to offer something to the nice people out there?
Obviously, come in, free consultation, no cost to you, no obligation. As far as the personal injury stuff goes, you know, you don't pay anything unless we win money. And once we get money, we take a cut of that and pay you the rest. But you know, everything up to that we handle. We cover the cost of case. If nothing comes from the case, we not a firm that's going to say, hey, you owe us money for the costs. You know, we take that risk, you know, on behalf of our clients.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Because I did have that conversation when my son got hit on that bike with the attorneys at the time, saying, look, if we end up going to trial and it ends up and buy this insurance in case it costs us too much money, and I'm like, what is all this about, right? So yeah, like, you trust hometown. You trust hometown. You're here to help, and we appreciate you making time for us too. And we'll come by and see him.
Come on by.
Dan will school you at some ball.